Hello and welcome to episode 30. We're going to hop straight into it. We have pocket fives here on the very first hand of the new table. Bump it up to $15 and the button calls as well as the big blind. So we're going three ways to a beautiful flop. Very first hand, we flop bottom set. Amazing. Big blind checks it over to us. I start off a small bet of 15 and button decides to raise it up to 40. A little bit concerned about pocket jacks, but not really. Big blind folds, and versus this player, I am always going to re-raise him here. He is someone that doesn't bluff and also doesn't fold. So once he raises, he is completely married to his hand, and there's no way he's folding. I could jam here and he would still call. But just to be safe, I'm going to raise it up to $100. And he doesn't think for too long and then ships it all in. We obviously call, and we are up against Ace King. So, pretty good result for the first hand until the turn is an ace of clubs. Don't do it! River is the six of spades, so we are safe and we are going to double up on the very first hand we play. On to the next hand, we have pocket kings now. Under the gun has limped and I bump it up to $15 and we get three callers. So we're four ways to a flop. Looking for a safe one, it doesn't really come. We get 8-7-3 with two diamonds. We do have the king of diamonds, which helps, but when it checks to me, this board is just going to smash all these calling ranges. So I'm going to check it here, play a little defensively, and see what they want to do. Checks the cutoff and puts in a half pot bet of 30. Small blind calls, and could raise, could just flat. I don't know. I'm not looking to bloat the pot right now, so I just flat and looking for a safe turn. Hijack folds, and the turn is the four of hearts. Doesn't change much, like 5-6 did get there. But besides that, it's a pretty safe turn. Small blind checks, I check, and I'm planning to check jam if the cutoff bets. But cutoff goes ahead and checks back. So off to a river, which is a queen of spades. Pretty good card. I expect them to have quite, like, queen high flush draws are pretty common here. So I'm planning to go for some pretty big value when it checks to me, something like probably the pot size bet, like 150. However, small blind now decides to lead out for 55. I think about raising for a little bit, but against this player, I just don't see them betting out just a queen often enough. And for this sizing, I think we just call and not get ourselves into the weeds here. We still have cutoff behind us. I'm just going to call and expect to be good here most of the time. So I go ahead and toss in the call, cutoff folds, and small blind shows us the queen 4 suited for the river 2 pair. So that one is not going to go our way. In this final hand at Park Casino, the table's gone quite tight. I've been raising and taking it down well over 50% of the time and just squeezing every time I can. So this hand will be no different. We're looking at two limps, and I bumped up to $20 with ace-7 offsuit in the cutoff. Button only wants to limp, but unfortunately the dealer made him call the $20, even though he only just put in one red, but whatever. He calls and then takes back his cards. I'm okay with that. Small blind folds, big blind calls, who's the same girl with the queen 4 suited hand from the last hand, and both the limpers do fold. So we are three ways to a flop of 6-3 deuce, 2 diamonds. We do have the diamond blocker. Big blind leads out for $20, and she's been doing this a lot this session. A lot of 1/3 leads on boards that actually do favor the blinds. They've all been like very low, a little bit connected, definitely favoring the blinds, but this is her 4th time in a row doing this. We do have the nut flush blocker. We do have some removal to like 6-7. And yeah, I'm going to go for it here. So I raise it up to $60. Button folds, and she thinks for a bit and then makes the call. So off to a turn, which is pretty much a blank, the jack of spades. She texts it over to me. I see how much she's got left in her stack, about 370, so about 2 SPR. So I think we want to bet around 80% here. I go a little bit too small here, and I make it 120. But moot point, as after a bit of thinking, she does, in fact, let it go. Pretty happy to have a no equity bluff go through. Moving on to River Rock. We are at a very poor table. Just raising a lot and taking it down. I think the last 6 hands I raised pre-flop, I just took it down pre-flop. I built up $80 in chips in like half an hour, just raising and never folding. But people look like they're getting a little bit tired of it. And I think about squeezing here with the ace-jack suited, but the raiser only has like 220 behind, so we're basically committing ourselves with any size that's less than like $60. I don't mind getting a heads up with him, but raise folding to a jam with ace-jack suited seems bad. I don't know, kind of went both ways. I think I like squeeze more, but I did end up just flatting. We're in position with a very nice suited ace. It can't be that bad. And then button calls on our left. So 4 ways to a flop, which comes out okay. It's ace, 8, 7, 2 hearts. Under the gun checks, the other player checks. I'm not looking to bet here 4 ways, so I check it as well. Button, however, does not check. He bets $60, so 2/3 pot to 4 people. Other 2 players fold, and against this player, I've got a pretty clear call. Against some recreationals, I would literally just fold this on the flop. It would just be gone. This guy is a 2-5 full-time reg. Quite a good player. I haven't played with him too much, but every time I've seen him in the casino, he's got quite a big stack. He's definitely knows what he's doing. So off to a turn, looking for a safe one. It's a deuce of spades. I check it over to him, and now he fires big. 160, leaving himself only 140 behind. This is just a huge bet, like 75% and only leaving yourself 140 behind. It seems a little odd. So I thought it over for a bit. And versus this player, I am going to have to make some call downs. Ace 10, I think, would be a fold, and I would just call down very tight here. But this just seems like a draw when he's betting this big. I don't see him sizing up this large with a set or 2 pair. He'd probably want to keep me in with my ace 10, my ace 9, ace 6, 5, 4, 3 suiteds. Yeah, most of my flush draws and straight draws I would bet out myself on the flop, so after thinking for a while, I feel like he's just on a draw. I'm never going to have ace queen here, as that will definitely be a squeeze pre. Ace 10 and lower, I'd probably just fold as they're blocking 9, 10. So ace jack suited, not blocking into the flush draws, I think is my best hand, and I'm going to decide on the turn just to go with it. So I ship it all in. Doesn't take for too long, it makes the call. I announce just an ace, and he rolls over the ace 8 suited. So my read was a little off. He was doing that with 2 pair. A little bit surprised to see that sizing with 2 pair, but I guess he is a bit worried about, such a draw heavy board, so it does make sense, but that one's not going to go our way. But we're going to reload, go back to battle. On to the next hand. This is not too much later. We've only been playing for like 45 minutes, but low jack has called. I bump it up to $15 with ace queen. Keep in mind I've been getting a lot of hands, and I've been bullying the table a lot with just large raises. And then Button, who's an action player, 3-bets us to $50. Falls back around to me. He doesn't have too much left in his stack at 230. I don't like calling out of position. And I've been expecting someone to start playing back at me at some point, as literally I've just been 3-betting and squeezing and raising every single hand. So yeah, I think that plays into this quite a bit. This guy is a very action player too, and definitely I've seen him bluff a few times. So I think over a bit. I've got good removal, so I actually turn my ace queen to a bluff here, ship it all in, and get snap called. I suppose once in a while they will have it, rather than them just playing back at me. But go off to a flop. King, jack, jack, no help. We do have a gut shot. Turn is the 4 of diamonds. River, 8 of diamonds. There's no way we're winning this. And sure enough, my opponent did have the ace king, so really bad timing on my part, but we're going to reload, get back in there. In this next hand, we have pocket 7s under the gun. The blinds are actually big, so there's a little bit more dead money in there, so I raise it up to 15. Player to my left, who is the ace 8 suited reg player, 3-bets me to 45. And now when I 3-bet, I get no action. When he 3-bets, we get an overcall from mid position, an overcall from the low jack, as well as an overcall from the big blind. I could rip it in here. There's a lot of dead money behind, but that just seems a little bit silly. I can call a close action for only $30 and set mine. So I do that. And what do you know, right in the window, a 7 on a very wet, very connected flop. It's Jack 8-7, monotone, all clubs. We obviously don't have a club. Big blind checks. I think about leading, just, probably just jam it all in here. Put ace of clubs in a rough spot, but I think check raising's a bit better. This is a board that someone is going to hit. There is no way that we're 5-handed in a 3-bet pot and no one has hit this. So I check it. Under the gun checks. Who's the original raiser? Middle position checks, and I'm getting really worried now. Until low jack announces all in for $405. Folds back to me. I snap call. Nothing to do here. And both players get out the way. So, don't know if we're looking for some help. Probably not. We're probably just looking to fade a club. So, turn is the deuce of spades, river, 8 of diamonds. We do make a full house, and we roll it over, and our opponent shows the queen jack off with the queen of clubs. Clawing our way back up. We're not even yet. Button straddle is live. Under the gun has called. I've got king queen off under the gun +2, and I bump it up to $25. I do get 2 callers, so we are 3-handed to a flop. Comes down pretty nice. Queen 6-4, 2 diamonds. We have the king of diamonds, so when it checks to me, I'm going to start with a small bet of 25, and they both make the call. Looking for a safe turn. Deuce of hearts, pretty good. Checks to me with the pot being around 150, just slightly over. Under the gun has about 160 in a stack, and the hijack has, can't remember, like 140 to 170. They're both around the same stack depths. It's like 1 SPR. So I decide just to go with the hand, jam it all in there. Hijack folds. Under the gun thinks for quite a while, and then calls. Nice. River is the 8 of diamonds. I'm not worried about a flush here, so I show my hand, expect me good 90% of the time here, and sure enough, we are good. Looks like we're up against like queen jack or something again. But almost even. Almost. In this next hand, I look down at king 9 suited in the hijack and bump it up to $12. We only get 1 call from the big blind, who's the player who had queen jack off in the 3-bet pot, so pretty good to go heads up with him, and even better when the flop is king 9-7, 2 hearts, 1 diamond. Get the backdoor flush draw and top 2. He checks to me. I'm going to start off with a bet of 15, and he makes the call. Off to a turn, which is queen of diamonds. Little bit sketchy card, but we do pick up a flush draw as well. He checks it over. I'm still going to keep going for value. I bet 35, and he calls. Off to a river, which is the deuce of spades, changes nothing. He checks it to me, and I think it's time to go polarize now. So I bet pot $120. Thanks for all of 5 seconds, just says I call. So we roll it over, and it's good. And we are officially unstuck. Okay, we are looking at under the gun raised to 16. Under the gun +2 has called, and it folds around to me on the button with ace king. Little bit worried about 3-betting this hand, as the under the gun player is very tight. And it's a pretty big raise from under the gun. Like, I'm a little bit concerned, but ace king's pretty strong. We can always fold to a jam, so I bump it up to 60. Small blind, big blind, get out the way. Original raiser folds, which is good news. And then the overcaller decides to ship it all in. This is the same player as the last hand with the king 9 suited and the queen jack off. We obviously call off to a beautiful flop of ace 6-6. Turn is the 7 of diamonds, river, 9 of hearts, and he rolls over the 9-8 off. So we are going to scoop that one as well. Final hand here at River Rock. We have pocket queens facing a limp. I'm going to bump this up to $15. We'll get no less than 4 callers. So we are 5-handed to a flop, which comes out all right for queens. It's 9-4 deuce, 2 clubs. So when it checks to me, I start off with a small bet of 25. Hijack to my left goes in and jams all in. Everyone else folds, and it's back on me. This guy hasn't played a single hand since I've sat down. Like, he's been here for over an hour. Hasn't played a single hand, and has been commentating on every single hand that's been played. I expect to be good here maybe 40% of the time. Like, I just think he's flopped a set. But I cannot fold for this price. Yeah, so I toss in the call, expecting him to win most of the time. Turn, jack of hearts, so close. River, 6 of diamonds. I show, and he rolls over one of his cards and points to it. Like, but it's an 8. So I'm like, okay, cool, I win. I start taking back my chips, And he goes, wait, what are you doing? Flops over the other 8 and then proceeds to take his stack back. And he thought he flopped a set. He thought he flopped a set of pocket 8s. And I also thought he flopped a set. So my read was right. But he did misread his hand. I think it was genuinely did misread it. So, but we are going to take this one down because pocket queens is better than pocket 8s on this board. Nice. Thank you so much for watching episode 30. Really hope you enjoyed those hands. Before we get into the bankroll numbers, I do have a few announcements to make. Next week in 6 days, I'm going to be attempting a 100-hour week of poker. I don't have any work to do, so it's just 1 week of grinding away. It's a little over 14 hours a day, and I'm going to include drive time. It will most likely be only 1-3, as I'm probably going to be too tired to think and play some 2-5, and mostly going to be at Villa. So probably get about 3 videos out of that with some notable hands, and then the 3 biggest hands of every day of the entire week. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do. I'll be very happy if I hit at least 90 hours, and I'm looking to win around $2,500 to $3,000, which will put the roll at $10,000, meaning that I can move comfortably over into 2-5 and start taking some shots there, as well as some other poker trips, maybe to the island or down to Seattle or Calgary, something like that. Also, did get a few upgrades for the poker playing. I got this little thing, little Lululemon crossbody purse. I just don't like leaving my backpack on the floor in the casino with all that cash in there. So this holds my recording camera, money, chips, Advil, phone charger. It's not that comfortable, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. Then also upgraded the vlogging camera, so I've got Samsung S22 now. Works really well. I'm still messing about with the ISO and shutter speed, still learning about that. And next up, I am gonna buy an editing laptop. Just editing on my desktop, it's pretty old now. It gets the job done, but DaVinci Resolve will crash, 5 to 20 times depending on the video and how much footage there is in it, and it's just frustrating. It doesn't crash and lose info, but you have to reopen it, get back to where you were. It's just annoying. But with that said, the totals, we played at Park and River Rock, both pretty short sessions, but looks like the card dead streak is over. At Park, we were in for 600, out for 894, for a win of 294. And then River Rock, we were in for 1,300, out for 2,103 for a win of 803, bringing the total win to $1,097. We started episode 30 with a bankroll of 6,202, and we're going to end today with 7,299. Almost back to the highest that we were at. I think the previous high was 7,437 or so. So a very small win away from breaking our record again. Looking forward to it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next few videos.